Do you have any idea who I am? Why I asked you to come here today?
No.
I wanted to speak with you about your future. What do you hope to achieve, Mark?
I want to be the best in the world.
I am a patriot. I want to see this country soar again. Coach is a father. Coach is a mentor. Coach has great power on the athlete's life. We're going to do great things, Mark.
I'm gonna give you everything I have.
An Oscar leftover. As we just saw with Grace of Monaco, that didn't work out so well for that movie. Both Foxcatcher and Grace of Monaco bowed out of last year's Oscar race to try and compete in what they feel is a less competitive one this year, or at least they feel they had a head start. They had a whole year head start. So we've seen, I think, a cut of this trailer before when Foxcatcher was supposed to come out last year. But I am intrigued. I think Steve Carell, it's great to see him continuing to experiment. But I think that he's had some other experiments that haven't, really done quite as well. He's been experimenting for a while, so I think it seems a little less fresh. But I do like seeing him in this role, and I think it reminds me a lot of Capote, which of course this is the same director. And it seems like another very, very severe case study of a very eccentric individual. Now the real story here, and I think who got a lot of attention when this trailer broke, of course, was Channing Tatum. Can Channing Tatum pull this role off? Now, one of the things that Jonah Hill said about him when he gave him his Entertainer of the Year award, I'm paraphrasing there, but he gave him the big award at the MTV Movie Awards this year. Jonah Hill said something very interesting about Channing Tatum, and that he said that Channing Tatum really commits and has a lot of integrity as an actor, and it's what impressed Jonah Hill when he saw him in a guide to Raising Your Saints, and it's also what made Jonah Hill feels made Channing Tatum such a great comedian. Because when the basic anecdote he gave, he said when he called Channing Tatum up and he said, "I want you to be in 21 Jumpsuit with me," and Channing Tatum said, "I'm not funny," and Jonah Hill said, "If you just commit to the jokes that I give you as much as you commit to your dramatic roles, with the same honesty and openness, it'll land, it'll sell." And Jonah Hill was right. So I'm very curious to see if Channing Tatum can use those skills here in a very dramatic, artistic Oscar bait kind of movie sensibility. He has a crazy wig on, Oscar check number 1. Passage of time, Oscar check number 2. And somebody's going to die. This is actually a very interesting true story. Again, like Capote, which was also a very interesting true crime story. Of course, Capote was covering the story there, but now you're going to be taken into the crime itself. And Mark Ruffalo's here, not really highlighted in this trailer. I guess because Channing Tatum's star is on the rise. But very interesting situation, and I think that Tatum is very smart. He's basically letting other artistic talents who are more experienced and I think perhaps more self-confident than Channing Tatum guide him and mold him, which is really the ideal actor these days. Back when the studio system existed, I've actually been thinking about this. Back when the studio system existed, actors had to be, they just had a job. The suits saw them as commodities. They had a contract with the studio. They slotted them into roles. It was a movie factory, and the studio put packages together. Today, actors, since everyone's a free agent, actors have to be picked by the director. The director is the one that gives them the gig, not so much the studio. The studio, of course, wants a box office draw, but directors have much more say in who acts in their films than they did during the studio system days. So, of course, who does the director want? They want an actor who doesn't have a strong personal sense of where they want the movie to go, unless the actor's the producer. That's how they get around that. But a director wants an actor they can mold, who trusts them, who wants to see their vision. So that's how I think actors get picked today. I think there are different qualities you need to be a successful actor today than you did during the studio system. And that's another fascinating evolution of Hollywood. And I think Channing Tatum is a fantastic piece of clay. So we'll see what Bennett Miller can do with him here, and I think he's the one to watch here. And some people even said, might he get an Oscar nomination? He's too early, obviously too early to tell. I would be surprised if he did, but I think this puts him on the board definitely for maybe an Oscar nomination down the line, and maybe getting more of this type of work. Channing Tatum, he likes to work in every genre. He really did well in action. He ended up doing well in action. He's done very well in comedy now, and he's going to go over action, by the way, over from G.I. Joe. You might be thinking not successful, but but look, he's landed Gambit off of that, and also romantic comedies, or tear-jerkers. The Vow, that was a big hit for him. And of course, Magic Mike. Look at the way he embraced his stripper past. So I think Channing Tatum is a fascinating personality and really making a lot of great choices as a talent. And again, he's making a choice to be a piece of clay, and I think that's going to prove well for him here. So very interesting movie. I don't know if anyone's going to see it. I don't know how much it's going to be recognized by the award circuit, especially since, as I said, it's a leftover. But I think the real key here is what it's going to do for Channing Tatum's career. So I hope he's good in it. All right, so that's my review of Foxcatcher. What do you think? Do you think an Oscar leftover has a hope, a snowball's chance in hell the next year? And who's the standout here for you? Channing Tatum, Steve Carell? Do you want more Mark Ruffalo? And do you think that maybe Bennett Miller's already done this? Or do you think that's the reason he should do it again? Write your thoughts down below. Thank you for tuning into my trailer review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.